So I've been playing Borderlands 4, and I kind of wanted to sit down and talk about my thoughts on the game thus far, and talk about one big point of negativity for me personally that I've experienced in this game. And it's probably going to be in the title of the video, so I'll start with talking about the things that I do enjoy, because I don't ever like to just be super negative. The game itself is phenomenal. Every aspect of the game is pretty well tuned in terms of the gameplay. You know, the gunplay, the movement, the quests, the balancing, the stats, the numbers, the classes. These are all well tuned and well refined, at least making it a fun to play Borderlands game. You pick it up, you are playing Borderlands. It is fun. The graphics and music are phenomenal as well. You know, the switch to Unreal Engine 5 with all of the bells and whistles that it brings in terms of lighting and shadows and reflections and all of that. It looks great. That is at the detriment of some performance. I have a slightly older graphics card, so it's not... I expect to have issues. It's a shame to hear that people with even high-end PCs are struggling to play this game. That's a shame. But for me personally, I throw on FSR, expect my game to be blurry, but running at 60 FPS. That's the life I live with my video games. Musically speaking, it's... I guess I could call this a very middle-of-the-road point, not necessarily a good one or a bad one. I can't think of any specific instances where I've noticed the soundtrack of the game and went, ooh, that sounds great. You know, it's just kind of there. It's some general soundscaping music to suit, you know, the atmosphere that they're going for, which is artistically speaking, the environments of this game, it is very fun to look at. It's very, in contrast to the desert, rundown, Mad Max-like nature of Pandora, this is a very lush green farmland planet, which apparently, according to the story, has been, it was hidden because of vaults and yada yada yada. It was hidden by some dude called the Timekeeper, and, he's been just ruthlessly ruling the planet for some time now. But it's all very green and lush and pretty, so that's pretty neat. The one negative point, and I guess the reason this video is being made, is because I wanted to take a second to voice my opinion on the designs of the characters themselves. And it's not like they're necessarily, these characters are hideous and just awful to look at. It's kind of the opposite. They're too pretty. They're attractive, they're normal-looking people. And I guess you could argue that this comes with the territory of, hey, we're trying to tone down that lol, XD, rar, so random kind of humor that Borderlands has been known for. Because you gotta remember, Borderlands 1 was a game that I played in middle school. And as such, even though it was rated M, it very much appealed to middle schoolers. That was kind of middle school and high school, right? School-age kids ate Borderlands up. It was great. It was Diablo with guns, even though I hadn't played Diablo at the time. Seeing this whole rarity system for the first time, different colored items that suit the power level, so when you finally see that legendary drop, you go, oh my god! And you pick it up and you go, wow, okay, this gun is a gun that shoots other guns. Great. That was all well and crazy, and we ate that up. And one of the things that stands out amongst all the so random humor and the goofiness of the game was these characters that were freaks. You think of like TK Baha and Dr. Ned and Marcus and Tanis and Brick and Mordecai and I guess Lilith and Roland were kind of, the token attractive people. But you knew that they were the token attractive people because everybody else was freaks. And so, I'm playing Borderlands 4 And I'll give credit where it's due. Maybe there's some freaks hidden in there because I'm only about 6 or 7 hours into the game. But in that 6 or 7 hours, like the 4 main vault hunters, very good looking, attractive people. Even Amon, the giant, just powerhouse Viking man, very attractive guy, So like, looking at the story itself, you have RJ and you have these other characters that you've met along the way, at least up to the point where I'm at, and like everybody's well proportioned and attractive. I miss the One Piece like aspect of these old Borderlands characters, where they were just uniquely drawn in these different shapes and sizes and thicknesses, curved weird, I mean, it was. I mentioned that it was Mad Max like to begin with because Borderlands 1 originally was supposed to be a Mad Max project made by Gearbox back in the day, right? So of course they designed these characters when they changed and made it Borderlands and made it its own thing. They made these characters goofy and funny because it still had 1 foot into the roots of its Mad Max nature. But now I'm seeing Borderlands 4 and all these regular looking characters, and I do appreciate the more serious tones in the story, but I also miss the uniqueness of the characters. It's something that I feel like helps you remember these characters, right? I a couple of minutes ago, I just sat down and named off all these characters. I haven't played Borderlands in years. I haven't played through Borderlands 1 in so long, but I remember all these characters. So there's something to be said for, sacrificing just a little bit of that seriousness, making room for it in the seriousness, to have these weird characters, to have the freaks in your game that the characters will remember. I think about, even back to Borderlands 2 and 3, how even with these freaks, you had these moments in the game where you might actually go, oh my gosh, we just lost an important character, somebody that we love. Even if they look like even if they look like a One Piece character. It's the same thing that One Piece fans go through, where you just have this bean-shaped man that you're just mourning the loss of, or, this powerful moment with a man who looks like 3 toothpicks in a circle. Like, it's something to be said for unique character designs, those unique silhouettes that you're looking for. And it's just, my hope is that there can be a point in which the old art style of those weird characters and the new seriousness can find a middle ground where the characters get to be just a bit more weird. I hope you've enjoyed hearing me rant and talk about my thoughts on this game. I'm not a reviewer. I don't have the articulation to really be a reviewer and somebody that you can count on to, hear my opinions about video games, but I'm going to throw my opinions out into the ether anyways. If you've enjoyed hearing me talk about this, let me know. Let's talk about it in the comments. I want to hear your thoughts if you've played Borderlands 4 yet, and maybe you've noticed the same thing I have, or maybe you like the new characters, maybe you enjoy the more normal take on these characters. That's perfectly fine too. Let's talk about it. And heck, while you're here, if you can drop me a subscribe. We're starting this channel from the ground floor. Anything helps with the subscriptions, the likes, the comments, all of it. Please do us the favor. We love you so much. Thank you for listening. Let me know if you want more.